Perfect. All right, so Coach Morrison, I'm here with Keenan Manlove, another one of our seniors from this year, from 2020. Keenan, how I don't know, I get a little, not emotional, but a little bit like, dang it, like I have some regret about the cancellation of this spring season, especially when I think about how it relates to you. Maybe you want to maybe talk about how how that news kind of has affected you or has made you feel.
Yeah, so initially it made me really upset with the prospect of track getting canceled, which of course it did a couple days ago. And track throughout my high school career has never really been my forte up until I'd say last year, when I was coming off an injury. I had to find some way to qualify for state that year. And I kind of been dabbling with the discus a little bit. And so I decided to really commit to it and put everything in that I could. And I luckily was able to pull off just scaping by at regionals and performing at state that year, qualifying for discus. And then as I lifted over the summer, I went to a bunch of different camps. I threw pretty, I'd say, I don't want to say strenuously, but I was on a pretty rigorous schedule of throwing in the morning during off season with the discus. And I was finally really starting to chuck that stupid metal disc out there pretty far. And looking at the marks from last year's state track and, who graduated, who was going to be competing this year, and the marks I was hitting in the off season, I was looking to do pretty well this year. And actually, maybe track would be a strong suit of mine, which has never been the case. And I was really looking forward to that. I was really looking forward to work with you. I think the throwers we had in the program, it was going to be a super fun year. And I cannot believe that one Friday practice, I can't believe that was going to be the last track experience of my career. And it's a super big bummer.
Yeah, big time.
That's all I can say. Yeah.
Big time bummer. Yeah, I coached junior high track last year, and I ran the regional meet where Keenan qualified, and that was pretty cool. Keenan got hurt in football and missed his winter sport, and didn't know if he was gonna like play anymore. It was a really bad broken leg. I think maybe that was I think you took just the way you were motivated after that was pretty intense.
Yeah, definitely.
It was intense is one of the words that can describe it. That was just that was a really cool thing, to be able to come back and qualify for state. And then I'll just talk about track a little bit there more. It was gonna be my first year coaching here in Burns, and we had like 30 throwers on the track team. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot, especially for our program. It's a lot.
It would have been wild.
And our facilities, like space.
We had 30 throwers, and we had like in the shot put, we probably had 6 or 7 kids over 40 feet, probably 3 or 4 kids over 45 feet. Wade was flirting with 50 feet, over 50 feet. It would have been so much fun to show up to meets with just a bunch of gorillas, just throwing stuff. And then in the disc, I think we would have been pretty dynamite too. It would have been a really fun year. It sucks that we don't get to have that.
Yeah, maybe even show off a little bit.
I know. But yeah, and I think it was fun in the weight room there with those guys and girls. And
yeah, I thought the whole dynamic of that weight room, like, I thought, I don't know, it was crazy how all those kids were just getting after it. Like, I didn't hear anybody complain about that kind of stuff.
No.
That was cool.
No, that would have been, this track season would have been such a huge, speaking selfishly as the football coach, it would have been such a huge like running, leaping start to the football season. Like,
Yeah.
just to be stronger and faster and getting used to being in the weight room, having 20 kids that are used to like, this is how we lift. And, that's something that I care about a lot, is like getting our weights program going. And, but, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I told Bo and Caden, like, we always say, like, every play could be your last play, and you think it's going to be because of, something else, but besides a virus. But yeah, I think a lot of coaches just have a lot of regret for you guys.
I don't know. The weirdest part is, like, we didn't know that it was the last time, That's what's weird.
That's got to be one of the messages to come out of this, and one of the things to carry with you is, like, you don't know, like, we're not promised anything after right now. It's a really crappy way to learn it, but
that's how you get those messages sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's talk about honestly, another thing I thought about with you is you probably would have been a nominee for that. I forget what the award is that the WHSA gives out, that they give out at state track,
Oh,
that perseverance one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think you could have had a pretty good case for that, breaking your leg and then coming back a couple months later to go to state, and then coming back and being an all-state football player. Was crazy. I mean, just a real testament to your determination and kind of your will, which I know about, strong-willed kid. Kind of talk through, like, what the summer was like as far as your processes, like what you were, how did you hold yourself to those goals that you set?
Oh man, well, I think it was one of those. We've talked about this a lot, where there is a bunch of big picture things, and problem I have is I focus on all these big picture things instead of focusing on the here and now and that laser point focus. Because, like, what's going to be more damaging? Really, unfocused laser beam or a super finite point? And I took a lot of steps to running in the summer. I really tried to hit the weight room hard. I think the biggest part was for me, and I definitely did not accomplish this goal, unfortunately, was knowing when to tell myself I need to stop. Like, putting in this much work is actually going to have the opposite of the result I want. Like, this isn't going to be what's good for my leg. And I would say, honestly, the biggest battle with, getting back into football and getting back into the swing of things would be with my mom, and how, against all that business she was. But I don't know, whenever I woke up in the morning at, 5 o'clock during the summer to go lift weights or to go on my 2-mile run around Lions Park in Cheyenne, I just had to tell myself that after I broke my leg, sitting in that hospital bed, there was a very large possibility that I was not going to be able to walk on 2 legs again without some help of a prosthetic or crutches or anything like that. And I think it's kind of freaky how much it relates to this virus, of how much we take advantage of the stuff that we have today. And so when I'm feeling really unmotivated, I have to think, God's given me this gift, this ability to have the choice to work out, to go on that run, to go hit the weight room. And a lot of people aren't given that ability.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, getting those goals, trying to get my, working through the pain, dealing with that stuff, getting back to where I was before I broke it, and then eventually trying to get past the point where I was and actually grow. I think it was just the thought that I can't waste what I've been given. I can't waste what was almost taken away from me.
Hmm. Yeah, it's valuable. We don't realize, the value of something comes in its scarcity a lot of the times, and just once you realize, like, oh man, like this doesn't last, this might not last, or this might not happen, then you grip onto that thing. I
Yeah.
was really impressed with your work ethic. There's a lot of kids in our school, and it's just a Burns thing. I think it was here before I got here, but we got a bunch of kids who work hard, and like, talk about working hard. Like, it doesn't come from a coach, and that's something I've tried to say, like, all the time. Like, you're in charge of your work ethic, and you guys are very self motivated, to just bust your butts, man. It's my favorite thing about Burns, athletes, is how hard we work. Just, and I think, like, that's something that Bo talked about, that he wanted to be, to pass on. And I think that's something that, Bo said, I hope kids, saw that. And, I told him if they were looking at it, then they saw it. And the same thing with you. If you looked at Keenan, and if you looked at, like, how he's doing what he's doing, like, you saw the work ethic, and the will, and the, perseverance. And the pretty cool thing to be around, as a 32-year-old, and admiring things about, a high school senior. Probably a lot of coaches maybe won't say that or whatever, but it pushed me in a big way to work really hard.
Well, thanks, Coach. I can't believe I didn't touch on that. Now that you said that, I think it's for, especially, the senior group, I think it's something that's almost kind of expected, so I don't put much thought into it. But now I'm looking at that, like, it's ridiculous how far we have to actually travel to get to our school. And that, like, I think that in and of itself is just part of putting in the work. But I would say another big thing that helped me, get past my injury, rehabilitate, play football again, play track, play basketball, was my teammates. Because initially, they were very sympathetic, but then I don't want to say they didn't cut me any slack, but they definitely didn't patronize me,
Mm,
you know?
mm,
And there's always, I think, a very subliminal feeling of, oh, well, Bo just squatted this and this. I'm going to have to add another 20 pounds on both sides of the bar, see what I can do.
yo,
And I think there's a lot of that. There's definitely, like, especially between Logan and Caden, I'm sure you noticed this. I think they're most competitive with each other.
yes,
And I think that really pushes what we do to a higher level. And it definitely pushed me.
no doubt. Yeah, it's crazy. It's worth sharing about our group of kids, like, how hard they work. And I think everybody says they work hard, but, like, I hadn't seen it like this before, and that's my benefit coming in, with that, with fresh eyes on a situation. A lot of times when teams aren't having success, there's, like, the easy thing to do is to say that the kids are lazy, or say that, they don't listen, or those kind of things. But you guys have been super coachable, and I've pulled you back more than I've pushed you,
Yeah.
honestly. To a man. To a man, there's
I,
not anybody I really got a kick in the butt and, like, let's go. It's like, we're good. That's enough.
yeah. And I think that's what I really, really, really enjoyed it, especially about the underclassmen this year. I think for most of the time we had a really good squad for the varsity to practice against. And, looking at guys like Kale and Cody Winslow, they would get after, their teammates and say, push each other to that higher standard. So I think I'm really excited to see what the program is going to be able to do after I'm an old geezer looking at it.
I'm excited too, man. I hope we get to play football this year.
Oh, that would just be,
It'd be tough.
yeah.
That would be tough. Um, but man, yeah, there was times at the end of the year where the scout defense like it was a lot harder for us to move the ball in the scout defense than it
Oh,
was
for sure.
to move it against varsity players. And almost none of those guys played varsity defense. Like,
No.
because we had 13 seniors, really senior heavy team. So a lot of those kids that would have been playing in years past kind of rode the bench and did their time. And I think we're in a great spot where people don't know what we have coming up.
Yeah, I think if you were to say Burns is going to be a lot weaker because we're graduating 13 seniors, you would be very, very, very wrong with that statement, because we got some great juniors and some great sophomores and some really good freshmen.
Yeah, I think we'll look a little different, just how we line up. But
Well, you're not going to have freaking Bo Clayson running the ball anymore.
we're not gonna have 2,000-yard rushers. We're not gonna have 5 tight ends.
Yeah.
Like, we had it was a crazy thing this year. I don't know. I was wondering which game you would want to watch, Keenan. There's some good ones. I thought of the Pine Bluffs game from the year before, from 18.
That
pretty
was
crazy
a great
game.
one. That was crazy. I actually have dreams about this sometimes. I'm sure you remember this. You remember that like muffed punt, and then I tried to run the ball right after that, and we were on like the 30-yard, there like 25-yard line. Oh,
Sure do.
yeah. That's a great game. I'm saying either that game or this year's Thermopolis game.
Ooh, yeah. I loved this year's Thermop game. That was such a cool game. You had a heck of a game too there. Let's pull up. Why am I not seeing?
Or heck, even the Big Piney game, that one was great too.
That was a cool game. Yeah, that was.
I don't know. We had so many good games.
Yeah, this one I was gonna pull up because of the kick. Do you remember the? You got my screen?
Oh yeah, that's sick.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can see it.
Yes, I can.
So
That's cool.
This is our rivalry game from this year. It was super cold.
Oh.
Do you remember before the game? I had to check on Keenan's leg a lot this year in practice and in games. And especially when it got cold, he has like a rod where his tibia is, and when it gets cold, it'll freeze. Like it'll give you some issues.
Yeah.
So we really had to really take care of it. I don't know. I'm just gonna let these roll, and if we see something, we can
Okay.
stop.
I remember the start of the game. Didn't we missed the first?
Yeah, we didn't score.
Attempt, right?
Yeah, we didn't score.
Which is pretty unusual.
Yeah, they played hard. I thought Pine played hard, especially defensively. Really well coached team.
I agree.
There's Keenan getting a block out there. Number 11 right here. Definitely had definitely starred more on defense this year, wouldn't you say, Keenan?
Oh yeah. Defense is where my game was at this year.
Yeah.
That's where all the big plays happened for me.
We kind of run it down. So we get to here, and
we kind of just hit a.
Yeah, they loaded up for our run stuff, and that kid made a good play. 19.
Is that Kyle?
Yeah. Or the Stager kid.
Oh, okay.
They fumbled, recovered. We recovered a fumble for a touchdown.
Oh yeah, Tanner's. I remember that.
We need to
That
put.
was awesome.
Well, I'm thinking about we need to put some of your PATs together. Keenan can really kick well. We didn't have any PATs blocked. I think he probably only missed one or two all year.
Yeah. I think I missed 3 all year, and the 2 of them that I missed were against Mountain View, and one of those was blocked.
That's right. Oh yeah, we did have one blocked against Mountain View.
Yeah, and then the other one that I missed was against Moorcroft, because I think it was Caden, and then right after that, Caden and Cooper switched holding the ball.
Yep.
Caden fumbled the ball or something, and then Cooper was yelling at him. He's like, "Why don't you hold the ball then, Cooper?" It's like Cooper started holding the ball,
And then he did.
and then he did.
Like, he had some of the greatest holds of all time.
Oh my gosh! Yes, he did.
There's one where he jumped, caught it, and while he was still like falling, put the ball on the tee, and we kicked it.
Oh, what was it? That was a home game, wasn't it?
I want to say that was Thermopolis.
Yeah, that's what.
A game that we won by 1 point, and if we wouldn't have had all the PATs be good, we wouldn't have won it. I like this clip. Keenan starts as this tight end right here. I hope they can see my mouse. Keenan starts as that tight end, and that's like he's the furthest person away from the ball. Okay, and if you watch, gets 2 blocks there at the end of the play. He ends up in front of the ball from being the furthest person away, and I think when you talk about effort and effort plays, those are the kind of things that you highlight. You know, it's one thing to talk about it, but then we're like 20 clips in, and there's already a great effort play, and that's just kind of who Keenan is as a football player. It's a cool clip of it. A play that a lot of people wouldn't see as a highlight, but that's something that's in common.
That kind of happened to me a lot this year. I'd make a block for Bo downfield from the opposite field, and then he would end up passing me. I think it's really obvious on the right film. I think it is. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Bo had a 90. Bo has 2 92-plus yard runs in his career, and both of them Keenan's ahead of him, and Bo just sprints
Bo
past.
just smokes me.
He's pretty fast though. I would have liked to see what his 100 time was this year.
It would have been a lot faster than last year's.
Going for Keenan for the 2-point. Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
A little high. You should have just kicked it.
I remember running that play because wasn't it so cold we had to practice in the old high school for this week?
Yeah, we barely practiced outside.
Yeah. That was a weird prep. That's definitely a unique thing.
Yeah. It was so cold. It was like -2 degrees. There's Keenan. So Keenan's playing he kind of played all over the D line. We're in they call this a bear front. This is actual traditional bear defense. So you have a nose, 2 3-techs, 2 wide 9s, and then anytime you get a tight end, you walk the safety on the tight end. So we kind of put this in to take gaps away, and it just lets you chase the pulls.
It's nice.
Good rush right there. One thing that's hard to do for everybody is to not take the quick lane,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, struggle with it at times, but right here, keeps the pocket, presses the pocket, takes away the quarterback's front foot, and it's not as great of a throw as it could have been, even to an open kid. You remember when I DM'd you about doing that Bruce Lee kick?
Oh yeah, Bruce Lee.
This was the game where we did that.
I remember that, and we converted it too, right?
Yep, we caught it. Yeah, it's coming up. I think it's coming up at halftime.
I think it was the first play at half I remember coming out,
Yep.
and Robs and I were trying to talk you into it, and you're finally like, oh, why not?
I like didn't want to, but you have to sometimes. Bo ran for like 200 yards and didn't have a touchdown this game.
I remember that. We were talking on that on the bus ride home.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't was there anybody besides Caden that had an offensive touchdown? Because didn't Tanner have 2 defensive?
Tanner had 2 defensive touchdowns. Caden threw this one, so like Logan technically had a touchdown here.
That's right.
Caden. I like how Caden drops his head because he was trying to throw it like to Tanner, but it went.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, it was the accidental touch. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, there's Keenan's lining up. We never got a chance to kick a field goal either. Wish we would.
No, we didn't. Oh well, to be frank, I don't think we ever needed to.
No, not really. And that's like being coached there about look at this. So we're telling you not to kick it deep sometimes, you know. Keenan can kick it in the end zone, you know, a lot of times, but sometimes we tell him like don't kick it to this kid, make sure one of the upbacks catches it. And then this is kind of crazy because I believe you go down and make the tackle. So you kick it off and you're the first one down. That doesn't happen very much. I don't know if you know that, but that's pretty rare that the kicker is the first one down and makes the tackle. You can see you're not accounted for in the blocking scheme.
Yeah, there's that hole right there that was just
that's pretty crazy.
Was it right before halftime that Pine got the field goal?
Yes.
Or field goal?
Yes, they made it too.
I remember that one.
We like stayed in this formation a lot.
If it's not broke.
Yeah. This is one of the plays I like, our little steal call off of this. So Caden's reading this gap. If there's going to be grass on this side of the person, he's going to pull it. He's grass and then hits it up tight. We didn't.
Good read.
In high school, I think it's hard to read the D end, and there's such a tendency for overhangs in the high school game that I don't think that the read gap is out here. I think the read gap is inside the tackle. You can see our tackle wheel on that kid, and we hit it up in there. We did that a bunch. I want to get to the Bruce Lee kick.
Me too.
Another PAT for Keenan.
Oh, I remember that. That was lucky.
Yeah, like right over the top.
I wonder how many consecutive PATs I made.
There's another, I think it's in the 20s. Here's another one where you make the tackle on the kickoff. This is another one we kind of schemed up, was like kick it up high, and there's another tackle on the kickoff for the kicker.
What do we call those?
It's like
the sky. Yeah, that's why I love the sky ones. Is because I usually got the chance to rock the returner.
Oh, bad interception there. Just bringing pressure. Probably should have caught that kick. Well, all right, I'm going to get to the Bruce Lee kick. Yeah, punt. Good directional kick, I thought. We always talked about, like, it's not necessarily how far for a lot of punts. It's like, does it get returned? Like, if a punt doesn't get returned, that's usually a win for me, like the way I see it, because there's no chance that kid's going to, there's no chance that they're going to take it back. There's Keenan making a play right here off the double team.
I'm going to miss this, man.
Yeah. Probably late hit, right?
Maybe.
I think that might have been a pick. Oh, well. Corner blitz. This is a pretty good rush. You got there the same time as the unblocked kid did. So while we're watching this, what are your plans for next year, Keenan?
My plans for next year actually start in a couple of months. If they don't get, changed thanks to this coronavirus business. But June 25th, I'm hoping to go to the Naval Academy and start my plebe summer there, which is basically like basic training on steroids. And I'm going to, right now I'm in contact with the Naval Academy football coaches, and I'm going to try out walk on for the football team as the kicker.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I'll do my 4 years at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. And then, honestly, I'm just going to kind of go with the flow, do what they tell me to do. But I would love it if I could get into naval aviation.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm super, super, super excited, but I would definitely be lying if I didn't say that I, was nervous, because I'm pretty nervous, but it should be fun.
It's got to be. So what's that process look like? Like what? So you get there and then.
Well, so the process for trying out for the football team, they actually have such a high ratio of student athletes, because no matter what, you're required to participate in some kind of club organization there. And so a lot of kids obviously do, the athletic route. And through plebe summer, they actually have tryouts for their varsity athletics, which is kind of crazy to me. Like, it's very open. It's super competitive, though.
Yeah. I mean, the Naval Academy is a really strong program in football. But I would think that they're the kind of kid you're looking for, like a little bit undersized for like Division I, but crazy work ethic, really smart kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't be trying for like the running back spot or anything, but I was looking at the average hang time for an NFL punt, and although it's already snowing in the middle of spring, I've been trying to take advantage of this coronavirus break, and so I've been kicking down at McCormick, which is like the junior high that feeds into Central, because they have a super nice turf field there. Mm-hmm. So I've been kicking a lot there, and my punt's averaging around 45 yards with a 5.1 second hang time. But of course, that's just me trying to calculate that stuff.
Right. Are you kicking with your dad?
Yeah, he came with me one time, but he's really messing around with a bunch of model cars right now, and that's keeping him pretty preoccupied, which is really nice.
You gotta find something.
Yeah. As long as he's not, in my hair, I'm totally okay with it.
Your dad's also a coach, I guess, for anybody that might listen to this. I don't know. This might just be for us, but that's fine with me if it is. I just miss my senior guys a lot.
Yeah, that's another thing that really is unfortunate about this coronavirus business is I'm not going to get like my last 2 months with, you know, my all-time favorite coaches and teachers. It's just a bummer.
It does. It just stinks. Here's the drop kick. We put this in because we saw somebody do it. You can't see it right here, but Keenan flips it up in the air, lets it bounce, and we had to work on the flip. Like,
Yeah, it's like a you spin it back to you almost.
mm-hmm. And then the goal is like to kick it as high as you can, straight up, and then get it when it falls down. You can see right here, he like kicks it up super high. Kid drops it, or we take it from him. We got that recovered. That's the first time I'd seen anybody do that in a high school game. We were pretty pumped up about it.
Yeah, and I was sick. I remember getting out of the shower one night, looking. I had all these Twitter notifications. I was like, "What's this all about?" And I was in a group chat with you, Suloff. Who was it? Caden
And Ramza maybe.
and Ramza maybe. And yeah, and you're like, "Am I crazy that I want to try this out?" And you sent the video on Twitter, and I was like, it was awesome that we were able to pull it off though.
I looked up or because I was messaging you today. It's in there. It's like, do you think you can do this? And you're like, absolutely.
Is that what I said?
Yep. I was like, okay, we're gonna do it then.
I really like this game. It's because I like it when I can get to the quarterback a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. I think it's interesting to see how over time our defensive line at least affected the game by like the quarterback expecting us to be there when the play happened.
Yeah.
Like I think that was a big role player in the Big Piney game.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, teams that threw it a lot or that needed to throw it. Our defensive line was super athletic.
It's nice when we had, Ben on the other side, and then because you
Played
could
Bo.
hang your hat on that definitely.
We
Ben
played.
and Bo on the left side.
We had Bo at one defensive end, Tanner Wilson who played wide receiver. We had another wide receiver right here. We had a fullback right here, and then our nose guard was really good too. Lincoln and Wade were both really good noses, so that the other four could just kind of get after it. Tanner scores a touchdown here.
Oh yes, I love this play. That was great.
That was awesome. Look at the 80s double high five here at the end with you and Logan. Like Rocky and Apollo Creed on the beach.
Logan and I had so many of those moments after like the Thermopolis game especially. That's a cool picture I have of he's like jumping in the air and I'm holding him up like in Greece or something.
He's Olivia Newton-John, and you're.
Yeah.
Here's a pretty nice play from Keenan. As soon as you clear, chase flat, right? Because that's where the ball is going to be. A lot of young guys will keep coming up this way, and they won't get flat towards the ball to make this. And if you don't make that. That's a pretty good. That's a senior play.
I remember you and Ramza were always telling me if you find yourself deeper than 2 yards in the backfield and it's not a run play and it's not a pass play that's lasted more than 3 seconds, you're doing your job wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're back there for a reason then. What was the score of this game? Do you remember?
I know they only scored 3 points.
Was it 49-3? 48-3?
I'm pretty sure it's 48. 48-3. And then, man, we had a bunch of 47, 48 games.
Yeah.
Was that 77? Is that Kale?
Wade.
Wade.
This is
I
a
thought Wade was 66.
Wade was 77. Connor was 66.
Oh, that's right.
We got into some two fullback stuff too that I haven't seen a lot of people do, but this is a cool.
Oh yeah,
if you
I
got
love that.
if you got two fullbacks, that's the hard part.
I thought it was awesome that we literally put that formation in halftime of the Wheatland game. You remember that?
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yes. Here's a good one too. A little pop pass, sneaking it in for the 2-point. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Kale's in there. Kale's 71.
Okay.
This was 14 power throw to Keenan.
14 power Tebow throw to Keenan.
Tebow throw to Keenan. He didn't jump though. He's got to jump to be the Tebow pass. Caden just resisted jumping. Yeah, he kind of hopped. I think maybe he just can't jump that high. I don't know. That's probably it, right?
That's what I think. Little guy.
Not a big jumper. I'm trying to see where we're at on time. I'm going to turn your video back on.
Okay.
There you go.
Sweet.
I don't know how long we've been doing this for. How does it say?
Let's see. What time is it? We started around
1:30 or so.
1:30 or so. We got at least watch the last 2 minutes of the Thermopolis game.
All right. Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, okay. So talk. Do you remember? That before this game, we had a talk, like a kind of a heart to heart.
I do. I definitely do. Well, for those who don't know me, I think I'm probably the hardest headed person you'll meet. And I had a big problem with not knowing when to tell myself to, take a break and take a rest with my leg. And Coach Morrison and I, we butt heads about that a lot because, obviously being the very wise and mature senior that I was, I knew what was best for me, playing that Friday night football game. And he knew, what was actually the right thing for me to do, thinking long term, take a break, take this Thursday and Friday off. And that is the opposite of what I wanted to hear. But, and so.
And like I told you, like, I get it, man. Like, I understand that this is your senior year. You're coming back from a crazy injury. Like, this is going to be the crazy, like, redemption song, It's like, and think about how close you were to being right. Like, you were this far from being the one that caught the game-winning touchdown pass in that game.
I showed you that picture, right?
Yes.
It was literally, I had the ball, and I still thought I had it when I fell on the ground. I remember it. Oh, I remember it clear as day. I remember, that crazy touchdown they had, and then I was coming back to the huddle, and you literally gave a speech. You're like, listen, guys, this is the moment that we all dream about. It's not over yet. There seriously is a chance here. But I was thinking to myself, like, man, we could, because we weren't really moving the ball all that well, especially passing wise, and we were all the way on our 20-yard line. We had to get all the way down to the end zone in a couple minutes, and it's been a back and forth battle the whole time. I was just thinking, oh goodness, and it was the last play. I remember running out there, Caden, getting out of the pocket, throwing the ball. I thought I had it in my hands. And then there's Logan, just takes it right from me and scores that touchdown. That was awesome. I give him so much crap about that.
You can't even let me have this, Logan.
Yeah, it's so cool. I've shown you the picture, right?
Yeah, I wish we could. Is it on Facebook, you think?
It's my Twitter profile picture.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull up the Twitter. And when I share my screen, it'll be on there.
Okay.
And then we'll watch the play. right here. All right.
Or it might be even the second right before it happens. I don't know.
Right here. So like
Yep.
the ball's coming down right here. It's coming in your hands. You're gonna make like the catch, and Logan was like right there about to take it.
And yeah, I remember as I land on the ground, I'm thinking, oh crap, we have a yard to go with however much time's on the clock. And then I turn around and I just see Logan, just running in the end zone. Oh, that was the coolest feeling ever.
That was crazy.
And then we still had to get that 2-point conversion, but I knew there's no way we weren't getting that sucker.
It was all right. Here's the play. I'm gonna turn your video off because it gets choppy sometimes whenever.
All right.
Yeah, video. All right. Okay, so Keenan's here. We're running like he's running a go. Logan's running a post. Bo's running a wheel, and Keenan's running a go. But there's so much grass here that I think you turned it into an inside like a seam, right?
Yeah, because I needed to shake that guy because I'm a slower receiver.
What the heck, man? That was so nuts.
I cannot believe that, man. That is. Yeah, I remember catching it, falling down with it, and then Logan literally strips it away from me. Oh, that was awesome.
That was so crazy. And then we called timeout. But while it was in the air, I thought you caught it, and I was like, he was right. Like it's weird that you think about that, like that kind of stuff. But I was like, that was right. He was the hero. He knew he was gonna like be the hero of the game, and then like Logan just like took it.
Logan just strips it. Remember you and I were talking about this in the locker room after everybody was gone. I just showered. You came in there. We were talking about it, and then Ramsey came in, and you're like, and Logan still for it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's literally what I was thinking. Like, I don't, who knows why you think those things, but, and then I have a question on this play. Like, why'd you run a fade here? Do you see yourself at the top?
Am I?
Right
I don't
there.
really know.
You're right there. Runs a fade. Your kid's like, oh, wait. And then Bo jumps over him into the end zone.
I remember that. I remember that little barrel roll he did.
Yep.
Oh, that was awesome.
It wouldn't have been as cool if you would have blocked him. I'll give you that.
That's exactly why I did the fake.
It definitely wouldn't have been as cool.
Oh man. And then don't you have isn't there a clip somewhere where you can see us go crazy at the end?
Yeah. Yeah, on the NFHS camera, like you hear the crowd, like after we score the touchdown, everybody's going nuts. Like
nuts.
Going crazy. And then when we like bring the 2-point conversion team out instead of the PAT, everybody gets real quiet. Like, what is he doing? Like, what's coach doing? Just kick the field goal, we'll beat him in overtime. But I don't know if you remember, but I was like, what do you guys want to run? And Caden was like 27 G sweep. I was like, okay.
I remember it was like nobody wanted to kick the PAT. I didn't even want to kick the PAT because I knew that we had the momentum, and I knew that I saw it. Sometimes I can see this look in Bo's eye where I'm just like, oh God.
It's scary.
And he had that look in his eye. I was like, oh, we got to give it to him, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nuts. And then here's the final play. And then do you remember you, like, we're starting to storm the field here. And do you remember you, like, running around with your, like, you're, like, running around like this, and then you just chuck your helmet? Do you remember that? You remember throwing
I don't remember chucking my helmet at all. I didn't believe you the first time you told me that.
You just yeeted it. You threw it probably 20 yards.
I don't remember that at all. I remember just going crazy with Logan. And that was just ridiculous. That was the coolest feeling.
That was so much fun.
It was. I wish we could have played the way we played Thermop against Buffalo earlier in the season.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it was sketchy there for a little bit for me. Like we were 1-2 and I knew that we were better than that. Like I knew like, man, Buffalo is not, respect to Buffalo. They beat us. Like they beat the crap out
Oh
of us.
yeah,
But I felt like we had more than that,
me too.
Yes. And I like you start to like doubt a little bit. You're like, what like maybe I need to be harder on these guys. Like maybe like are we not working hard? Like what are we doing? But just kind of I guess it's like trust. Just
Hmm.
trust what you're doing, trust your kids, like trust you guys. And like I think we stopped passing. Like we just said, you know what, we're not gonna do that anymore. We just ran the ball forever.
I wasn't the fourth game where we got out of that 1-2 slump. Wasn't that against Wheatland?
Yeah,
They ranked 3, and we just went in there and just.
it was crazy. Bo had like 45 carries for like 280 yards.
Oh yeah, that was a crazy cool game. I remember. You remember the the volleyball girls in this? That was cool.
That was awesome. That was awesome. But it was a really fun year, man.
It was. It was. It was great. Man, too bad we had to play Mountain View.
They were
Oh,
loaded.
crap.
They were loaded, and they were really well coached too. Like
Yeah.
they were good. And I would have, this is like everything. You look back, like, man, I wish I would have done this or done this different or better or whatever that game. But
Yeah. Well,
they
I,
went
I
to
can
the championship. They were really good.
I can honestly say, without trying to make an excuse for anything, basketball included, my whole high school career, that is the best organized team that I've ever competed against. They were.
Like one of our players had a panic attack when they came out. I don't know if you probably didn't know that, but one of our players like started like hyperventilating on the sideline when they
Was
came
that
out.
Colton?
We knew how big this game was, and like we saw them come out and like, okay, they're a lot bigger than us. Like
Yeah.
we hadn't had that.
No, we didn't. We hadn't.
But I think that it was good for the younger guys to see how, okay, this is like, because now they have that building for like, no, that's what we're trying to be, because it's good to try and be the best that you can, but like sometimes you can like see it and be like, okay, that's what we're trying to do. Like that's what we're trying to be.
I think looking back on this year, I would much rather have kind of set a precedence for championship teams to come in the future than win the championship this year.
Wow.
As a senior.
I mean, that's really cool because it shows like, that's what I think coaches hope like their programs turn into is like the program is more important than me or more important than like this, my year. It's like all of, it all like the legacy matters and like who we are, and we is like everybody who's ever played for us and everybody who will play for us.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that was like put in motion 100% the year you came. Like the seniors have, Aiden and Pyle, all those guys. I definitely think that put a lot of stuff in motion. And then this year, I think the best thing we got out of this year is we really started the beginning of a legacy of Burns football.
That's cool.
And that's just going to be so, I've actually thought about this, looking at Twitter while I'm in Annapolis, reading the scores on it's Wild Preps. Is it WyomingFootball.com on Twitter?
Yeah.
Going through that and seeing how Burns fared on Friday night in Annapolis. I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's super cool. Yeah, I mean, that's what I hope is that like people who are a part of this like are proud of it.
Yeah, well, I think I'm not even speaking for myself here on this one, but it's definitely a year to remember. And I think I don't think the seniors could ask for anything different.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was just to have those moments, like that's what I'll remember. I'll remember like Pine Bluffs from last year. I'll remember Thermopolis from this year, like forever.
Yeah. And it's not just going to be like, oh, I remember the score of that game, but there's a feeling that's associated with that. And like that moment in time, it's just going to be kind of ingrained in your brain forever.
Yeah. And I think it's cool because it like tells you something about yourself. Like if it's like proof of concept. You know what I mean by that? It's like, if you show up and work hard and do that no matter what, then good things do happen. And like it proves it.
Yeah. How are you thinking about getting are you still gonna have like a weights lifting program over the summer? Are you even gonna be allowed to do that or
Uh, I don't know. If we can get in the weight room, that'd be ideal. Just because we've all seen like how much of a difference that's made in all our sports programs. Um, but if we can't get in the weight room, then we're gonna lift. Like I'm gonna start it in May, just like when we would start our 12-week program. We'll start our 12-week program in May, and just gonna modify it for what we can do at home, and just try and get the best we can do. Probably focus more on speed development than strength, because it's gonna be hard for dudes to put 400 pounds on a bar. Yeah.
rip it out? Yeah.
So I'm looking into a lot of that. I'm kind of bummed. I've been researching a lot about like how to make our strength program like really good. Um, I hope I get to do it. We'll see. Who knows how that's going to shake out? But it's kind of like that's our one of our core values is like embrace adversity. So like if that's what we got, then we'll just make it the best that we can with the time that we can. But um,
And I think that you can kind of put a really nice spin on it. In Burns, I think we're definitely accustomed to adversity and knowing what we're gonna have to do to overcome and deal with it.
mhm. Yeah, this is how we live. Like we live, and I know that there's programs around like the world and people around the world that have more than us, but we have inherent adversity in our program just from everybody lives 20 miles away. You
Mm-hmm.
know, people like work on a ranch and then go to practice. Then go to school and then go to practice and then go work on the ranch again. Like it's a unique spot, but that's what I love about it, and that's why I know it's not all me because like people here have been working hard for hundreds of years.
Well, I definitely think that you play not just blowing your horn. You definitely major contributor to that part of the process.
I appreciate it. It's hard for me to, I don't know, it's hard for me to take ownership of those kind of things because, like I said, it was when I walked in the door. Like I knew that we had really hard workers, and that's like, if that's a given, then you can do whatever you want. We can figure the details out if we'll just work really hard and be there, and no matter what.
Mm-hmm. When you're talking about like the kids working really hard, I definitely think when you're saying about that stuff, the kid who doesn't work hard it's definitely pretty obvious who it is
Hmm.
right after that.
Hmm. And we have so many examples of like really hard workers, like in our staff too, like Coach Mitchell. Like she works like 20-hour days, like doing everything. So shout out to Coach Mitchell. She's one who like,
Absolutely.
am I
And
really working hard? Like, am I really? you know?
yeah, the weird part about that is that she actually enjoys it. You
Yeah.
know,
Great.
she doesn't dislike it. She
No.
loves those 20-hour work days.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. That's like her default is like work hard all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool to have around as like an example. And
It is.
there's a lot of coaches here that I look at as examples of like that's how we want to be, you know. I think
Yeah.
it's true when you have something to model after, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. Another big bummer. I don't know why this just occurred to me, but I really wanted to have because there definitely been some underclassmen that I don't want to be that guy, but took under my wing this year and really looked after, tried to um, talk to before games a lot.
Yeah.
They asked me for advice quite a bit, and I was really wanting to get one last parting word with those guys, and so
All right.
it's
So
kind of
here you go.
fun with it.
So if you had something that you were going to tell those guys, you do it right now. What would you tell them?
Shoot, well, I would say that definitely in the past, Burns has been viewed as lesser than a lot of programs and people we're facing, and we've always had to deal with that stigma. But I think the tide has finally changed, and we really showed what we're capable of, and it is really on you guys, to make it obvious, make it known who the Burns Broncs are, and I think we definitely have the resources, we definitely have the athletes, but most importantly, we have the work ethic and attitude to follow with that. But that means holding each other accountable, getting in the weight room, and by any means necessary, however you set it up. But I think the most important part is you got to give 110% and listen to Mr. Morrison because he knows more than you do.
Yeah.
But I've always carried a sense of pride with me representing our school, because my dad's taught here for, I don't know, he's kind of an old geezer forever, it seems like. And I've definitely grown up here. And I think that's maybe something we've lacked in the past is a sense of ownership for our school and a sense of pride of wearing orange and black. But I definitely realized something that I haven't this year that I know I'm not going to have to tell the underclassmen to do, but I know that they're going to carry out is that sense of pride of being from Burns and taking not just like facing adversity, but displaying the adversity and who it's made us today. So that's all. Oh, and just don't be idiots, behave in class. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's cool. You know that pride you talk about. I don't know if you. I can't remember if I shared it with you guys, but I had alum, old football players from Burns like emailing me like throughout the season about like make sure the guys know that this is important. Make sure that it matters. That what they're doing matters to us and how they play matters. And they said, I don't care what the score is. So I just want you to beat these guys up. Just be the more physical team and just beat them down. I think running for 290 yards a game and giving up 180 yards a game, like we upheld that, and that's becoming who we are and who we want to continue to be. So just know that like what you're talking about, like it's noticed, like that pride in the program, and that's been noticed by alumni, and
Yeah,
it did some
I
cool stuff.
I can't believe I forgot to mention that. But on that pride topic, it was like Coach Ward, Coach Colby Ward, with his battle with cancer, and I wouldn't even say just the football team, but also the community. I think took a lot more pride in everything. It was really cool to see us rally behind Coach Ward, and I think with the great addition of Ramza this year, he was a great coach. I love Ramza. I think something I haven't really seen before in this program, just being a part of it, but the linemen, they really took pride in being the linemen,
Yeah.
being the hogs.
Yes.
So I think that's cool. But definitely I think we've started something really cool, and I just cannot wait to see it come to fruition.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that makes me feel good. That's what you hope, like that's what you hope you get as a coach, is that it means something to be a part of this program, and it does. It does. And That makes me feel really good. I'm actually gonna get Colby and Ramza to do one of these with me here in the near future.
Okay,
So
cool. I'm
we'll
excited
put
to see
this
that.
video out with them hopefully soon. So
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm excited to see that.
yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, talking about Ramza, like being an addition, like he would have been my vote for assistant coach of the year. Just how much better, he made our special teams, he made our offensive line, how much better he made our defense once he took over. Like that was a huge, a huge piece. And him being from Burns, him being, one of us, like it shows like you can be an All-American coming from here. Like you can, like, and it matters because he could coach wherever he wants. I don't know if you guys know that, but he could go wherever he wants, but he wants to
Wherever you
be
want.
here because this matters. So that's really cool. But yeah, I really
Well,
like coaching with him.
man, it was really cool for us seniors because, and I think this also meant a lot to him. We were those sixth graders, those kids in elementary school who watched his team play. That they were undefeated, and then we have it seems we bring up this team a lot, but I remember specifically that heartbreaker against Thermopolis when they got upset, going to the state. And I think it's definitely evident that he's bringing something to the table, that our senior group especially. It's kind of one of those full circle things, We grew up watching him play, and now he's going to watch us play and help us try and compete. It was cool having him.
It was awesome. Yeah, he's good, man. He's good. And hopefully, like as far as a role model too, like you can walk the way that guy walks and feel good
Mhm.
about your son, like
Yeah.
using him as a role model too.
Yeah, and talk about work ethic too.
Yeah.
That workhorse.
Yeah. Well, Keenan, we're coming up on probably an hour. I don't know. It was good to see you, brother. Miss you,
Great
man.
to see you, Coach. I miss you too.
Halls. Miss getting compliments on my shoes. Have a nice pair of shoes that Keenan complimented me on that I remember very, very distinctly. So I appreciate that from you. But I mean, just miss you seeing you around the halls, and
I miss giving the head nod after, what is it, second hour, going into second hour. I miss that.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are fun to be around. Sorry, like that this whole deal is happening during your guys' senior year. That'll be tough to deal with, and it'll be it'll continue to be tough. But just try and find the lesson from it. Try and find the you don't need any more lessons in like this. How important it is to value the moment. But
It's always good to get a reminder, though.
yeah,
Never hurts.
well, I'll see you again soon. Don't know when, but just stay positive.
Yeah,
Keep working hard.
absolutely. I'll never, last part where I'll never forget. First person that talked to me gave me a little prayer on that field as my snap leg was dangling. I'm never gonna forget how you and I prayed on that field right before
Yep.
went to the hospital. So I really thank you for that, and you've been a huge part of my life.
It means a lot, man. If I'm a part of the kid that you become, and then that's pretty cool for me. It means I'm doing something right.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, buddy. Love you, man.
All right.
I'll talk
Love
to you
you
later.
too. All right.
Bye.
Tell Gideon and your wife I say hi.
I will. Bye, Keenan.
See you, Coach.